Jan Ochoa.
Jeff Grubb.
The Final Fantasies have reached 16. You know what that means? Time to buy a cute car.
That's right. Thank God we went to the sweet 16 route and not 16 and pregnant.
That's right. This is a
Would've been
quinceanera. Wait, that's 15,
very
right?
weird.
My bad.
That's 15. That's
Okay,
15.
Close enough. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is a Square Enix joint. They have put a lot of time and money in it, and you can tell because of how sexy this boy looks.
Look at this Clive.
Look at Clive, motherfucker. I gotta tell you, big Clive stan ever since meeting Ben Starr. You're gonna hear Ben Starr's sweet voice here in a second. He does a lot of grunting, and then he also does a lot of attacking because this is basically Devil May Cry now. It's Devil May Cry and God of War. That's what this game is. That's what they're going for. You should see a lot of that. I'm gonna have to try to concentrate during these battles because you
don't worry, Grubb.
You really gotta know what you're doing, and you really want to make sure you're getting those dodges in.
Yes.
There's dodging, there's parrying, there's all kinds of stuff in there. I'm enjoying myself. I think it's a pretty good combat system.
I think it is a fantastic combat system. I think I saw the Sphere Hunter on Twitter say this is Devil May Clive.
Yes, Devil May Clive. Exactly. That's exactly right.
I haven't been able to stop chuckling. But yeah, the combat system, it's very, very action heavy. And folks, you'll notice here, you're just controlling the one dude. You
are Clive through and through the entire time. And let's lay down some ground rules here. I want to show off what that means to just be Clive. So we're going to probably play through one of the very early pretty big boss fights. There will be story stuff in there, but it is story stuff that sets up like the key gameplay elements, and I think it's also a lot of stuff that if you've been paying attention to this game at all, you'll put two and two together. You'll know exactly what's going to be happening because they're still setting up the world here. So we'll go into that, we'll set up, and then that's going to unlock another set of skills for us, and we'll show that off.
Awesome.
So just have that stuff in mind. But yeah, since you do just play as Clive, like you're like, okay, like what is your party like? Well, yeah, you do have a party. You got Torgal here. Sometimes you have another buddy with you, and they have magic abilities. What I like about Torgal is if I get lost, I can hold down the left stick, and he tells me where to go. Thank you, Torgal.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, if this is the chunk that I think you're about to undertake, I think if you're on the fence on Final Fantasy XVI, this quick look will do good work on whether or not.
Yes, that's exactly why. That's exactly why I wanted to show this off, because I think this is where I was like, oh, they are hitting the story notes, the gameplay notes, making all those things work together really well in a way that really won me over.
Yeah, like the God of War influence is so heavy, like especially with the loot after all these combat instances. Like you just automatically pick it up. With where you are in the combat right now, you have a basic flash attack. You have a magic on triangle, which surprisingly doesn't take up any mana. No. You can just blast away.
You can just go pew 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 pew. You can charge it. Something you can unlock pretty early. Charge shots are cool because if a guy has like this guy's guarded, if I charge it up and then shoot him, I'm getting attacked from behind. Guard break, and then I can go in there and I do my zoopity zoo, and then I can do my lunge, and these are all, so most of the attacks are going to be right here on your square. If I do jump and if I do X and square at the same time, then I'm doing my lunge. If I jump, I can kind of start doing air attacks, but the icon Phoenix that I'm using right now, not exactly an aerial attack guy. That might be another icon that we might get eventually.
Perhaps one that is based off of air.
Yes, perhaps. Exactly. So let me see if I can do some damage with this. Gonna do a shuriken. Yeah, there we go.
And then those are abilities that recharge. You just have to hold R2 to get to that second menu there.
Thank you, Jan. You can see them recharging right now. The circles around attack. If I hold down R, that brings them up as a like now. I have that menu. If I let go, they go away. But I can't do anyone right next to the recharging. But I can do one right now. Let's go for it.
Oh, so good.
So these are normal enemies. With the bigger enemies, you're going to get a stagger meter, things like that. That really kind of keeps makes sure that you have to pay attention to like what is happening to the enemy, where you're at, like where your meters are at. You want to be like using your during stagger. That's when you want to be using a lot of your icon abilities to do as much damage as possible. Things like that. And these smaller encounters are also still pretty fun because I'm just going to be wailing on these guys mostly. Oh, man, I'm not getting my dodges in at all. There we go. All right. Precision counter. That's what I like to
Get
see.
that stupid wizard.
Yes. Oh, is there a wizard healing everybody? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Guy in
This
the
guy
back.
right here, huh?
Two of them.
Okay.
Actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's because
There's
I think right before this, they're like, oh, there's a wizard, and that'll prolong combat because he keeps healing everybody. So, yeah, let's take that out. There we go. That makes sense. Yeah, he's healing somebody right now. Okay, let's see if I can find him.
Oh, they're all grouped up together.
Yeah.
What are you playing this on, Grubb? Are you playing this on performance or graphics mode?
Right now we're playing on performance mode. I played a lot on graphics mode, and I was just fine with it, but then I started playing performance mode, and I think it looks fine. People are still complaining about the frame rate. I don't think it's too bad, but maybe it's just fine in this area that I've been in.
Yeah, after you mentioned that you've been switching back and forth, I switched to graphics mode, and I think I've wound up sticking with it.
Yeah, it's completely fine. It's a really solid 30.
Yeah, it's a solid 30. And then, the sequences, which we'll probably see like a big flashy sequence later here, just looks gorgeous. I know that we're in a murky castle right now, so it's not the easiest to show off the graphics of this game, but there is shmoney. Oh, like you mentioned, Grubb, there's a named or a bigger dude.
Yes, this is gonna be a bigger dude. Oh man, that's right. He's tough with that fire.
Grubb, do you have that special ring equipped?
Which one? Let's take a look. Yeah, let's check out my gear. So I have Favor of Fire. I have the Badge of Metal and the Badge of Might. Let's see. There's these rings of timely evasion. These are the ones that are like the assist modes. And these things
these are cool, yeah.
Yes, this is a very handy thing. They just give them to you no matter what mode you choose at the beginning. There is action focused and story focused. That is their difficulty levels. I did action focused. I think story focused gives you more equipable things to start off with, so you're a much more robust character. But no matter what mode you start with, you get these Ring of Timely Assistance things. And Ring of Timely Focus, you can see it says, when equipped, time slows before an evadable enemy attack strikes Clive. No effect when equipped with the Ring of Timely Evasion. So you get basically you have 3 slots, and you can just attach any of these 3 assist mode features. Basically, it's a really cool idea.
I think that's a clever way to handle the accessibility. Yeah, I wind up using the Ring of Timely Assistance.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that. Oh, cannot change gear while in combat. Interesting. Did not know that.
But yeah, when you do a perfect dodge, you kind of get like a little shadow strike thing where you can almost immediately lunge at them. Oh boy. Yeah, I love this wolf. Yeah, there you go. That's the precision dodge. Yes. It's funny. It looks like they're raiding you on the side all the time. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the style to pop up.
SSS.
Yeah.
Oh, he got me. All right, cool. Let's restart here anyhow.
That was planned. That was
planned. I want to show everybody that's very generous in terms of it's checkpoints and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for hitting the script, Grubb.
Exactly.
Of when to die.
I hit those beats for you. You know it. All right.
How have you been digging the story so far?
Yeah, it's been heading with me more and more. It's a big Final Fantasy story. I think they are trying to hold themselves back in a lot of key ways, and now that they're now I'm to the point where they're okay, now it's time to go ham again. And I think that because they have established a pretty grounded world, I am really into it actually. Yeah,
I think that's a really good way to put it. I feel like this has been a more grounded Final Fantasy story. That feels like there's human stakes versus, we don't need to get into Final Fantasy stories and the validity of them, but sometimes they can be a little bit obtuse.
Yeah, they're definitely taking themselves seriously, and it's working. It's not embarrassing or anything like that.
Yeah. I've dug it a lot. There's the straight up comparisons to Game of Thrones, and
yes, it's definitely apt.
Yes, it is definitely heavily inspired by it. I don't think that's a bad thing in this instance. Oh. You got this, Grubb.
You got it.
The music in this game has been absolutely fantastic.
Yes. Now he's staggered, and we can just go to town, do a ton of damage all at once. Maybe we can get our boy in there to do some damage as well. Attack! Sick!
Oh, this is great. There are these moments where, like, you have, like, I wouldn't even say this is, like, a mid-boss, but, like, a tougher enemy. I feel like if there are a lot of these encounters, and sure, we're limited on our powers and everything, I could see the combat wearing a little thin, just feeling a little repetitive.
I agree. I bet things are going to keep getting more, like, you're going to unlock a lot of stuff, obviously.
Right.
But I think most of the time you're going to be doing, like, these basic attacks.
Yeah.
I dodged that. Come on.
How many hours would you say this part is, Grubb? This is like what? 7?
5 to 7, maybe, yeah, like in that range.
The thing I've been surprised by is how linear everything has been.
Yes, it's definitely just a linear game.
Yeah. Which I don't mind.
Oh yeah, not at all.
I know some folks would be like, no, I want to go where I want to go. I want to grind these specific places. Yeah. It's a small thing, but like in one of the beginning areas, like the tutorial-ish area, you see people just using magic for their magic skills to like trim hedges and like get water, and it's cool because I feel like if you're seeing the world of Final Fantasy, it's like, oh, okay, all this stuff exists and there's practical uses.
Exactly.
Other than
and it like sets up the drama of the world, right? Like that is the central conflict. Is that you can do anyone can do magic if you find crystals. Crystals are expensive and rare and hard to find. You know what's cheap? People who are born with magic abilities that we could just enslave. And it's like so that's the central conflict. It's like there are these tools which are actually just human beings who have magic, and as you can see on our boy's face there, he's branded. They're called bearers because they bear the mark, or branded. And these are people that are treated by at least by most of society as just tools, and they're not free, and they are to be used by a higher class, essentially. And you meet Sidolphus, who is basically a freedom fighter who is trying to free that class of people.
Yeah, I really like where they're going with the story and like the implications. Like, I guess I never thought of a summon being absolutely terrifying,
right,
to everyone else.
And it's terrifying, and it's like a terrifying relationship between the person and the person that could summon it. And but they're like completely dependent because that's what makes you different and makes you valuable. So yeah.
They're taking a lot of brave swings, and I appreciate a lot of it.
Yeah, and again, it's working, and it's not trying to run from anything that's Final Fantasy. It's just coloring Final Fantasy in some Game of Thrones paint, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. For folks curious, the combat I wouldn't say is quite as heavy as God of War.
Right.
It does feel like a good in between. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, me too. So this is one of the big fights with Benedicta. Again, you're going to meet very early. All this stuff is relatively early in the story.
Oh, Grubb, hold down the middle touchpad.
Expected more.
Right.
This is one of the coolest things.
So active time lore. This is very cool. You hold down the touchpad to get to it, or if you press start, you can just touch the touchpad to get to it. And now we have that like Amazon Prime Video. Who's on the screen right now, and what can we learn about it? Kaer Norvent, an imperial stronghold located along the southern fringes of Sambrequois territory, far from its capital of Oriflame. It occupies a key strategic position adjacent to the Crystal Belt. And then we can find out, okay, who's Benedicta? Commander of the Kingdom of Wayload's elite intelligencers and dominant of Garuda. She is a dominant, meaning that she can summon Garuda, who is one of the icons. And so she's one of these powerful people in this world. And okay, so now we can find this out quickly without having to, if we get distracted, we're not going to get lost because we are going to have all of these important things right here. The dominant of fire, someone that we're chasing because they summoned a dominant, or they summoned an icon that killed our brother. Like that's set up in the demo. Like that is the setup to the story. This is a revenge story. Yes. So yeah, let's get into it.
And less from you. This is the second time you've bested my sisters. Men of your talents are rare indeed. Why cost your lot with such undesirables? If it is the hearth you long for,
I think the dialogue's still very Final Fantasy.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
You know exactly
I'm here for it.
Me too, exactly.
Hand over
I think
and I'll leave you in peace.
this voice acting cast, I feel like, is just fully bought into it rather than like it being. They're leaning into the cheese.
Yes, and also it's this game was recorded originally in English first. So
Interesting.
Yeah, so this is like an English voice casted game, and then the Japanese was done after that and was informed by what the English cast did. And so you get lip sync with English in a way that you don't get with Japanese, and it's like that's clearly they're going for that first.
You know, that's probably what's striking me as different then. Like I think that's why I've been more captivated with some of these cutscenes. But also the facial capture I feel like is really good on Square. I think it's kind of got what they got in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but a skosh better. Like you get nose scrunching and everything.
Right. Yes, the faces are great. There are times when the game starts to cheap out a little bit, and again, I'm here for it because I think it's fine. Like, not every scene has to be the most expensive scene in a video game ever. And this game recognizes like when to spend its money. The cinematics, obviously, all this stuff looks great. What we just saw with her up close as she's like taunting us, that looked great. But you'll get to your home base and whatever, and you'll do quests, and you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna deliver some meals in the kitchen. And everyone you talk to, it's like just stiff, and the voice and the faces aren't animated super well, and it doesn't matter because it's all just kind of silly fun, and it's like the right place to skimp out on, I think.
Right, yeah. I think there was some worry when Square was promoting FF16 and that it would be too serious and there wouldn't be
exactly
any type of fun. Yeah. You got this, Grubb. You got potions.
Yeah, we got potions.
How difficult have you been finding this? I know it's really difficult to talk about all the systems and
I
play an action game.
died during this fight once when I kind of came in with not any potions, and that's kind of been the only death I've really had. Otherwise, when I'm not talking and playing at the same time, it's been pretty easy to read. I think the enemies are very generous in terms of giving you reads on their attacks in a way that a lot of these action games are not. And then even when I did die, like I said, very generous in terms of checkpointing in the battle, where it's like I was into a later phase, and it just started me from there, and it gave me all my potions back. So it's like, okay,
nice.
The game is not trying to be some Soulsborne or something like that, where it's like, no, you didn't. You got to really learn this fight. It's like, no, we're just gonna we're gonna kind of help you through this fight.
Yeah, folks, do not worry. The game can get challenging, but it is not Dark Souls difficulty at all.
Yeah, so this
transform.
It's so good, and it's like I don't think it necessarily like fits with the tone. She's so scary, and this is so intense, but it's like still feels so adventurous and Final Fantasy. And now here's some QTEs, which I'm okay with. They are one-button QTEs. They give you plenty of time. But like, we just want to do some shit that looks cool. We want to do some God of War shit. Okay, I am fine with it. I think it's all working. Torgal's saving the day.
Nothing bad can happen to Torgal.
No, absolutely not. She says, "Fucking dog."
No.
Cry all you like.
My boy
There's no one to save.
Michael Heim compared the cutscene QTEs to Asura's Wrath.
Yes.
I think is a really good comparison.
I think so too, and I think that's if you're going to make QTEs, you got to go. Asura's Wrath has to be like what you're informed by.
Yeah. You're good, Grubb.
Yeah, we're good. Oh, that's right. She does these talent attacks.
Oh, God, the dodge feels so good.
Yes.
There is a parry, and I think you did mention it, Grubb, but it's a
hard.
weird parry because you have to hit square and attack them at the same time as they're attacking.
Right. And that's hard to pull off, I think. But I do it accidentally sometimes.
Same.
So mostly I've been trying to do these dodges, these perfect dodges.
Yeah. Because then you wind up, I think you get like a damage multiplier.
Yes.
There's also like little stuff with the combat, like if you are mid combo and then you quickly follow up with triangle, you'll like throw a quick fireball at him, and it won't interrupt your combo. It's
Right.
cool. Just
Yep,
the
it's
music
just
kicking in with
cinematic,
this.
and the music is great.
For folks that also big fans of random miscellaneous Final Fantasy stuff, there is a good chunk of that as well. I think in the demo you even fight a dragoon, so let that inform you on how deep they're willing to go. There's also a lot of crystal talk, but not
Lots of crystal talk.
Yep, it's just like my some TikTok algorithm, you know, talking about healing crystals.
Talk about Crystal from Star Fox Adventures. All the crystals are here. She's stuck.
No, she's staggered.
Okay. Oh, she's just. That's the. Okay, she was just
Time
staggered.
to join
Right?
your pet.
All right. Yep. Now she's gonna get mad, and the music's still gonna just keep going and ruling.
Yeah, like these set pieces are fantastic.
Yep. Yep. All right. Fair enough.
Okay.
Cinematic evasion. It's like they know what they're doing. They're just calling it that.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinematic strike. And now she's staggered again.
It's great. Like these, I feel like I haven't struggled with a boss fight other than being like, oh, I ran out of potions.
Right.
As being a little careless. I feel like all the boss fights have been bangers.
Yes, I've really been into them.
Don't touch me. You disgust me.
Oh, this tornado.
I think Clive may be one of my favorite Final Fantasy like protagonists in a while.
So I was gonna ask, like, do you think he's like kind of edgelordy, brooding? Like, where does he fall on the spectrum of Final Fantasy protagonist for you?
I think the benefit for Clive at least is we see him through multiple ages.
Yes, he feels very much like a real person.
Yeah. And yeah, he feels like a real person, I think, and also just how they set him up.
Yeah, he's definitely Jon Snowish in terms of his station and his family.
Hardcore.
Yes, like I don't think he's actually a bastard, but they treat him like one.
100%.
Yeah, that's.
I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so yeah, and you know what? That just makes him very sympathetic.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I will stand by this, that the trailers or the early trailers for this game do the game no service at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have like focused on like, yeah, there's an evil lady with wings.
Yeah. Throw this music in.
Yeah.
You know, like the way they handle the classic Final Fantasy fanfare in this. Oh my god! Like the first time I heard it, I had like a stupid smile on my face with how giddy I was. I understand this will not be for everyone because some folks, this is not their preferred flavor of Final Fantasy.
Right.
You know, they want like turn-based stuff, but or even I think folks would want like a combination of 7 Rebirths combat system, which was like with the ATB gauge. But
right. And it has the.
This is going to be more actiony.
Yeah. This is made by the Devil May Cry combat producer. He did this as well. I mean, and it's obvious.
It's so good though.
Yes. And again, we'll get through here. We'll see if maybe we can unlock another thing or two and see how things can change up. Right, when you stagger, you get the second chance to stagger. This is great. It's like feels so good.
Yeah. And this is another instance, folks, where just use your abilities.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to worry about mana management. It's just cooldowns.
Yep. Gorgle!
There's a boy!
He's fine! Fuck her up!
That's what I was talking about.
Yep.
It just adds like a human element to it. Like, just like, okay, yeah, I would be very frustrated.
Get her, Torgal!
A boy and his dog.
Yep.
Dude,
Oh my god. So cool.
Fucking owns.
And now, you know, we got all these cinematics, and we staggered at the beginning of the cinematic, and now we're gonna stagger, or no, she staggered again, and I can go in, and all my stuff's refreshed. I'm using my abilities. We're gonna do as much damage as we possibly can in this little stagger thing, and it'll add it all up there at the end. You can see the big number at the end. 5,846 damage. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you, Mo!
I feel like this might be a good jumping on point for folks that have never checked out a Final Fantasy.
Yes, I agree.
It's going to be radically different, you know, and you're not going to be, oh boy.
Yes, it's, but I think, you know, this one does feel like it has the broadest appeal in a long time. So, I think they succeeded. If that's what they were going for, I think they succeeded. So, good for them. Man, her attacks are so messed up.
I'll let her hit me, though.
Yeah.
Throw some M's in the chat, folks.
That leather outfit, I mean, come on. Get out of the tornado.
There's also a demo available.
Yes, and it's the first. It like, just seems to be the first 2 hours of the game, and it your save will continue. So it's a really good way to get it started.
Yeah. So if you're waiting, at least check out the demo so you can carry over your progress. Just love firing off everything.
Yep. Oh come on, you fucking geysers.
It is probably an unfair comparison, but I do feel like I care about Clive more because of meeting Ben Starr.
Yeah, I mean, games are about people, right? I mean, I like talking about games with people. I like talking about games with people who put their heart and soul into it, and you really get the sense that they really cared about this stuff, and it is making me like the game more. She's gonna fucking kill me.
Oh boy.
Alright, let's just try to survive this.
Torval, help me out, bro.
Son of a butt beeswax. Oh, sweet. All right.
Oh, thank you, sweet Torval. All right,
Torval,
there we
please.
go.
Hell yeah. Fucking
Oh, there we go. Ability.
Benedicta defeated. We get our experience.
Fanfare
we get the
there.
fanfare.
Oh my god.
And it's all very good.
The game uses the vibration and the DualSense really well as well.
Also, but it also has the like, oh man, it's Sony's paying us money, so we got to pay extra attention. Like they have the things where you open big heavy doors and you got to pull down the trigger, and it's like, oh, you're pushing so hard. It's like, what is this? Why are we doing
there's
this?
so much power, Clive.
Yeah, it's rules. You can see where we got like crafting stuff. Like this is a lot of stuff that you'll get from these battles. But you will occasionally get like an accessory. The Will of Fire increases rising flames will damage by 10%.
You are but a branded!
She's pissed.
How? How did you do it? How did you even survive? How?
The answer is simple, Benedicta.
And here's our boy Sid.
He was fighting
Oh
for
my
something
God.
he believed.
Ralph Innocent
Shut
or
up.
Innes? I can't remember what
Why
his name
aren't
is
you
exactly.
dead?
Ralph.
We've played your games. Now tell me where he is.
Who? What are you?
Uh-oh, we got a gameplay mechanic. So we haven't seen anything like this in the story before, but as soon as it started happening, I went, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a party. You just have Clive. So how are you going to get to play with all these wonderful toys that they put in this game if you are just Clive, who just is kissed by Phoenix? So, like, you don't even have the power to summon the Phoenix icon. Well, you know what? What if you just stole the power of the enemies you defeated? And it's like, well, of
Mega
course
Man
that's how it works. Yeah, you're Mega Man. Exactly. It's a Mega Man game. He's not feeling it quite yet, though. He's takes a second.
Oh god, it's like these freeze frames.
And like her reaction. So imagine, like, he just stole her power.
Yeah.
Let's see how she handles that.
The thing that really elevated her status in life.
Uh-huh.
God.
Torgal's ready to fucking do business.
Enough of this.
Oh.
What?
There are straight up like Dragon Ball Z levels of charging up.
Yes. And also I'm here for that. I love that.
What's happening?
Man, Grubb, if this year was not as loaded with banger after banger,
Yep.
I think for me personally, this would easily be Game of the Year.
Yeah, I think that this is a game that in a lot of other years would just be the shoe-in for Game of the Year. This year,
Yeah.
it's going to have a real tough road to hoe, but it is still going to be in that conversation, I think. For me, it is that good. It's that impressive. And it really comes down to this incredible stuff like this right here, where she is just freaking out about losing her connection to her icon.
Yeah.
And like in a lot, I think other Final Fantasy games, like that stuff would be treated a little bit like this. Yeah, whatever. Now I have your power. Ha ha ha. And it's like
Yeah.
here, it's like she is devastated, and it's. I found this to be very moving and very scary about what that means for her like position, like her status in life, like you said, her political position. And she's going to survive this fight, so we're going to see how that plays out for her, I think.
Yeah, and also the implications for Clive. Like
Yeah.
what does this mean for him? Does this elevate him at all, or does this like paint him more as the villain?
Yeah.
In the story, for context, Grubb and I are about like the same points.
Yeah,
We
I'm
got
a little bit past this. Is where I'm in the game.
Yeah, got review code late in the game, so
Yes.
haven't had time to dive in all the way. This game is also very adult.
Yep, that's right.
Uh,
They don't. Yes, there is. I haven't seen any bare breasts, but there's been a lot of sexuality. I'll say a lot of Benedicta
Yeah.
straddling people and being like, I'm so horny all the time. Look out, aren't I horny? And it's like, well, yeah, you seem very horny, and that seems like very much like an HBO show. This is the fire dominant that Clive believes killed his brother. So we'll get through this right here, and we'll test out some of our new abilities.
Yep. Grubb, I forget where do you land on Final Fantasies, like in general?
I very much enjoyed Final Fantasy VI, but I never beat it. I never felt like, but I kind of was like, at a certain point, I was like, that was a lot of fun. I get it. And then I put it down and didn't pick it back up. And then the rest of the Final Fantasies, I've only kind of played a handful of hours of 12, and I liked that, but I didn't love it. Mostly I'm good on Final Fantasy. I am like, hey, I like Super Mario RPG because Square Enix made one of their RPGs, but Nintendo said you have to make it fun. I'm that person. But I'll say playing this and then kind of I've been eyeballing the pixel remasters and be like, maybe I've changed, maybe I've grown. Final Fantasy is a series I always wanted to like. It always felt like, yes, gaming has Final Fantasy, and it seems like a way that a lot of people get into gaming, and I love that about it. It's got like this big appeal, and people love their fantasy stuff and these characters, and not all of it's for me, but I like that it's here in gaming. And I always felt left out because I didn't go join the party. So this one kind of, I do think a big part of it is I maybe have a little bit more patience, but a part of it is they really are trying to make this appeal to a broader audience. And it was never the turn-based stuff. I love turn-based combat. It was just the other elements that usually turn me away.
Yeah.
Got the power of the wind. That's what we have now.
It's so good. Oh my god. The circle ability for that you get with this icon, absolutely fantastic.
So you can see now on the bottom right here, as I hit the left trigger, I'm jumping between my Phoenix and the Deadly Embrace, which is a Garuda or whatever, however you say it. And that is now. Now my attacks are going to be more green. Let's take a look at this. Let's hold down this trigger and do gouge. You can see that. It's kind of wind and yeah. Let's go take this guys. Let's just go do this. Now I can bring them closer to me using my my power instead of me charging towards them like I can with the Phoenix. So here's what it looks like with the Phoenix. I dive in, and then if I switch over to my green guy instead, I'm going to pull you in like that and start attacking. So what this means is I can do something like, let's jump up and pull you in, and now I can get to do some air attacks, and we can kind of continue that stuff from there. It's pretty fantastic stuff.
And you can switch to your different icons mid-combo.
Yes, I'm just going back and forth right now. Back and forth, and it actually feels really good to switch.
Yeah,
it looks
it's like
good.
Switching weapons in a Devil May Cry game.
Exactly.
That lunge specifically is straight out of Devil May Cry that you have, and it's glorious.
Come here, get over here.
God, yeah, I don't. Oh God, this is a great game.
Yep,
this is a fantastic game.
It's just they just really nailed it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in the Game S morning chat this morning, but when you're watching this may not be the right episode. But if I reviewed games for the website, and if we had a 0.5 star system as well, I think this is like, for me, where I'm at in the game so far, 4.5.
Yep, I think I'm right there with you. Where it's a really, really strong 4. For me, I always like 4 is I love it, and 5 is this is one of the best things I've ever played. Like that's how I kind of break it up in my brain. I love it. I love this game. This has been a lot of fun. It's been I really, you know what? We talk about Final Fantasy. I really enjoyed the 20 hours I spent with Final Fantasy VII Remaster. I didn't beat that either, but I've really enjoyed that. I think I'm enjoying this about as much as that, and I think this is I think the writing, the story, and the characters is hitting me a little bit harder here.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough adjustment going through the next chapter of the Final Fantasy VII remake after how serious this is.
Yeah. So we could take a look at our abilities, and of course we can unlock stuff, and we have currency to spend ability points, and you can see I have 1,115, and we can see that these various things cost like 500 and 400 and 575, and these are my Garuda abilities, and back over here is my Phoenix abilities, or actually a lot of these are my core abilities.
Yeah.
Burning Blade, like we can unlock Burning Blade. Hold square. Oh, actually, I think I might be upgrading that. Hold square to imbue Clive's blade with fire. I have that, but now I've improved it some more. Let's see, down thrust. Yeah, why not? Yeah, these are I'm mastering now. You can unlock and then you can master things, and that's how it works. And like unlocking them is pretty cheap. Mastering them is a little bit more expensive. So let's unlock one of these. Let's go with. These
got that one.
Yeah, I do have that one. Let's see. Rook's Gambit. There we go. And then, do we have enough left over to upgrade it? Let's just go for it. Let's upgrade it. Jump back, then deliver a punishing counter. If the jump evades an attack, counter potency is increased, can be used in midair. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear when things can be used in midair.
Yeah, like the combat is going to open up even more so the further you get into the story. So I know that we were kind of harping on it earlier, but the ways that it looks like it can open up feel like they're going to get very,
like I'm
very
already like, oh, there's
crazy.
so much more possibility here. This is something. Thing's killing me. Yeah, but now that I'm like paying attention to this enemy, he telegraphs his attacks a lot. And it's pretty easy actually to. I'm just gonna do this. There we go, and then we can do a little too sweet on him. Ooh.
Yeah, they allude to it a lot and with that one skill description, but you can use a lot of your abilities as like in lieu of a block or in lieu of a dodge.
Right.
I just love seeing the numbers pop off.
Yeah, it's just really satisfying stuff.
Yeah. Grubb, how come they had to make so many games this year?
I don't know. It's like everyone decided to like just hold off until this year for some reason. I guess maybe there's a pandemic. I don't know.
I keep seeing like the debate pop off of, is this going to be one of the best years of video games? And I think,
yeah, I'm definitely like, we are on our way to that being true. Obviously, a lot of it's going to come down to these last few months, but we're off to a good start here with Final Fantasy XVI now after having several great games, one after another, earlier this year.
Right, like, you know, we just came off of Street Fighter VI, Diablo 4. Tears of the Kingdom was just a month ago.
Yep.
RE4 remake.
Yep.
Oh man.
And I just popped off like basically every ability I had in my pocket, one after the other. It feels great. So good.
Oh.
Okay, enemies slain. We'll get a little bit of our spoils.
Yeah, so you're getting XP, ability points, gil.
So that's
occasionally
exactly. That's like the last thing I was kind of like. The RPG stuff, like how do you think the RPG elements work in this game? Do you feel like you're building a character? Because you know, for me, seeing the numbers go up, seeing the level go up, becoming more robust, equipping new stuff, all that stuff is like enough for me. But I wonder if there's like for more hardcore RPG people, especially JRPG people, is this providing them enough? I'm not sure, but it seems like it probably is. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like to the level of granularity that folks will want, you're not going to get that, unfortunately.
Right. Let's go with
and you're probably going to get to the depth of character customization as you would get from God of War 2018 and Ragnarok.
Oh, sweet. All right, this is the ability that I could do instead of doing a dodge. It has a dodge built in. Okay.
It's great.
It's cool, man. That's a risk reward right there. I know. I'm down for it. So, yeah, I mean, this is Final Fantasy 16. I think we could probably keep going, but a lot of stuff I think we will get more and more into a story at this point. Let's, you know, anything else worth going over here? You know, obviously your attributes. We talked about a lot of these things that you can equip and improve your character. I haven't messed around with the crafting too much. There is like a home base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe can we go to there, or we might be stuck in this.
I think it may be locked out.
Might be locked out. But the home base, it's exactly what you're going to think it is. It is. Like the Psychonauts HQ. Like it's just it's a campus. There's a bunch of people hanging around. There's a restaurant called the Fat Chocobo, and you can do side quests there. And you can pick up other story quests, and you're going to meet a lot of the characters and have important conversations. But then the rest of the game is just like these linear missions where you're going to run from one waypoint to the next. The waypoints will be clearly marked. It's never going to be confusing. If you are confused, you hold down the left stick, and your dog will be like, go this way. So yeah, big boy. I love it.
It's not me who's been playing with fire.
But yeah, Jan, I think you know what. Let's let this just kind of play out. And we'll wrap up here. Any other thoughts about Final Fantasy 16?
I'm so happy to be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to be wrong.
Yeah, Square Enix is one of those companies that I think does a lot of makes a lot of boneheaded decisions. They've been very weird with their games that aren't called Final Fantasy XIV. They've put out a lot of games, and I want to applaud them for that. But they also seem to let them go out and fizzle pretty quickly. Even stuff like Octopath Traveler 2, which by all accounts is a very good game. But they seem to just they were happy to let it just go out and do nothing.
Yeah.
So to see a game that they've built up actually come out and hit in a real way is very exciting.
Yeah, I have no idea how long this game will take to finish. I can see it stretching into 60 plus perhaps.
Yeah.
And I applaud that.
Yep. Sure.
I think I might be happy that if it continues down this trend where it is fairly linear, and I think I'd like to experience this story because it is really, really good.
Yep. Great writing, great action.
I love the Amazon Prime feature that you can pop during any cutscene.
Yeah, let's see if we can learn about our boy Gav, who's like Sid's faithful scout, and like Gav's like clearly jealous that you guys are best friends. A lot of sexual tension in the air. Of course, it's Final Fantasy.
A lot of himbos.
The himbo, it's like himbos going all the way down to the ground, just knee deep in himbos. Yeah. So Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. What else?
Also, I know a lot of people do not like Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones is not their cup of tea.
Yes.
Do not let the comparisons to
it
throw you off or scare you off.
This is Final Fantasy. This is
Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're gonna say the fuck word, and they're going to be sexual and stuff like that. But it's more like, yeah, obviously they're inspired by Game of Thrones, but it's like that is one bit of flavor, and then they are going to be talking about crystals in the next sentence. I promise you.
Yes. And there'll be cussing.
There will be lots of cusses.
No.
All right.
You cast me out like all
We're gonna let Benedicta get on with her life. Jan, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Jeff. I've had a fantastic. Oh
no.
Oh.
That seems bad.
Oh no.
Bye, everybody.
Carol.
Oh, bye, everyone. Yeah. Jesus.
Oh,
Everything's cool.
We're all good. This is all good. Oh man, Robin Hood and his merry men.
Is Last of Us?
Yeah.
That's a good price, I reckon.
See, yeah, like they're not gonna let this character just like, yeah, they're gonna do something with this character after she loses her power. Like that's scary.
Yeah. The world is messed up.
It's messed up. All right, that's where we're getting out. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.